Meantime, the White House is vowing to challenge a D.C. judge's ruling that there's enough evidence to hold Trump officials in criminal contempt of court all over those deportation flights to El Salvador. D.C. Chief Judge Jeb Boasberg says Trump officials intentionally misled the court about what was happening behind the scenes when the administration quietly loaded 2 planes full of people deported under the Alien Enemies Act. That's the 200-year-old law that gives the president wartime powers to detain and deport people from an enemy nation. On March 15th, Boasberg told the Trump administration that any of the people on those deportation planes bound for El Salvador, even if they were in the air, needed to be returned to the United States. Now, that didn't happen. According to the court, the planes landed briefly in Honduras before then continuing on to El Salvador, all after his order was issued. Boasberg accuses Trump officials of boasting about defying the court's order, quote, deliberately and gleefully. He points to Secretary of State Marco Rubio retweeting a post that included a headline of the judge's order where the president of El Salvador wrote, "Oopsie, too late." Now, Boasberg says even though the Supreme Court tossed his order last month, that doesn't excuse the government from obeying it until the Supreme Court acted. He says the Constitution does not tolerate willful disobedience of judicial orders, especially by officials of a coordinate branch who have sworn an oath to uphold it. To permit such officials to freely annul the judgments of the courts of the United States would not just destroy the rights acquired under those judgments, it would make a solemn mockery of the Constitution itself. Boasberg will give Trump officials a chance to purge the contempt, but otherwise he's going to refer the matter for prosecution. And if a DOJ attorney refuses to prosecute, he says he'll just appoint a prosecutor himself. But ultimately here, the president actually can pardon anyone convicted of criminal contempt. He's done it before with Arizona Sheriff Joe Arpaio, who was found in criminal contempt for refusing to comply with a court order. Meantime, the Supreme Court has agreed to hear arguments over Trump's plan to end birthright citizenship. DOJ made 3 separate emergency requests to the Supreme Court, asking the justices to narrow nationwide injunctions issued by 3 different district court judges, including one right here in Maryland. And DOJ says district court judges shouldn't be able to limit the administration's actions outside of just the parties in a particular case in a particular jurisdiction before them. And this debate over nationwide injunctions we've been talking about on the show. It's been happening for a while. And frankly, both sides have relied on nationwide injunctions to their benefits. Although the court didn't explicitly agree to weigh in ultimately on birthright citizenship in that policy, the justices, of course, will be at liberty to do so when talking about the injunctions.